to you live from the Vegas Video Network studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip. It's golf and other four-letter words. And now your host, you've heard him on ESPN, Fox Sports, and Sirius XM Radio, Mr. Dennis Silvers.
Hey, whoa! Thank you. That's nice. They brought in the bus.
I like it.
They brought in the bus. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to this Monday edition of Golf and Other Four-Letter Words on this Martin Luther King Day. Hope you had a nice chance to maybe, have the day off. It's a holiday, and maybe get out and play some golf. It was a little brutal in the morning with the wind, I know, but the afternoon cleared up. And anyway, thanks for hanging with us for the next 30 minutes. We've got a great show in store for you. A lot of fun, a lot of information, and some really good tips at the end of the show with our last segment called Handicap Helper with a young lady who is a golf professional and has been so for a number of years, knows her stuff. Very, very busy lady. So without further ado, let me interview. I'm going to interview her. Let me introduce. She's in her second year, by the way, as the head coach for the UNLV women's golf team. Give it up for Amy Bush-Kerzer right here. How are you, Coach?
Thanks for having me.
Do you prefer Amy or do you prefer Coach?
Amy, for sure.
Good, because I was going to call you Amy. I didn't want to call you Coach.
My players all call me Amy, and that's what I want to go by.
All right. Well, I understand they call you a couple of other expletives,
they probably
but I can't.
do too,
I can't say that on
here.
air. Second year, it had to fly by.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But it's such a great. UNLV is such an amazing place with the athletic director and the things that are happening here at UNLV. It's an amazing time, and so it helps it go by fast. And I can honestly say that I love my job.
No, why not?
Yeah,
why would
really,
you
why
love
not?
your job? But Amy is also involved currently as the president of the Southern Nevada chapter here of the PGA Southwest section. So that also keeps her very, very busy. We'll get into that a little bit later in the show. There's a lot of ways, as you probably know, or if you don't know, I'm going to tell you right now to get a hold of us. We've got email to start with, and that is simply golf@vegasvideonetwork.com. You could email us your questions, suggestions, comments, whatever you want to do. We also have a toll-free listener line for you. It doesn't cost you a nickel to phone us up. 1-866-966-4599. We also have live chat. Just go to our homepage, vegasvideonetwork.com, hit that little live chat icon, and send us in, again, something you'd like to talk about or a question or a comment or whatever. We're also seen all over town. As you know, we're on iTunes. You can hear all of the audio portion of the shows right here on the network. We are also big on YouTube. Okay, we're a YouTube partner. We have Roku television going on, which is very cool, and also Friday night features every Friday night from 8 to 12 midnight on AM 1400 KSHP. They re-air all of the audio portions of all of the shows here on Vegas Video Network. So if you're out for dinner, coming back from the golf course, going wherever, turn on K-Shop, and you're going to hear, again, all of the shows re-aired on Vegas Video Network. Okay? Before we get going, I also want to talk about one of our strategic partners here on the network, and that is Golfer's Guide. You're familiar with
Absolutely.
Golfer's Guide. Largest golf publication in the country. It is published regionally, talks about all of the really good golf courses across the country. They have articles on golf instruction, on golf retailers, this and that and the other. They are very nice. As you can see, they stream the episodes of Golf and Other Four-Letter Words on their homepage. Want more information about it? You want to read it? Just simply go to lasvegas.golfersguide.com, and there it is. You can get through it. They happen to have Angel Park and the Legacy, two courses run by OB Sports, so we want to thank them for their support. All right, let's get into business right now. We're going to get to our first segment with Amy, and that is simply called Tournament Scorecard. Here it is. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Golf and Other Four-Letter Words on the Vegas Video Network. She's Amy. I'm Dennis. Pretty good, pretty simple distinction right there. Tournament scorecard, Amy, the first full field event of the 2012 PGA Tour. Second week, those guys were in Hawaii. Okay, pretty nice. The Sony Open, which has been played for years and years and years and years. Pretty good tournament for the most part. I've got one bone of contention that I'm going to talk about. But Johnson Wagner plays some good golf, picks up his third PGA Tour win, goes home, goes paddle boarding or whatever with a check for $990,000. And, of course, is the early leader in the FedEx Cup standing and the early leader on the official PGA Tour money list with about $1.5 million. Not too bad.
That's a nice week.
That's a nice week. Now, I've got a couple things. I don't know if they're being cheap or what, but $990,000. Why don't they just make the damn thing an even $1 million? Can't somebody come up with another 10,000?
You would think in Hawaii they'd be able to figure out somebody.
Sell a few more coconuts or get another concession stand, or something in there. I don't know, but pretty good playing. They had some pretty good weather. I'll tell you what bothers me though about an early event like this, and I was talking about it earlier. These guys come into an event like this, a first full field event, and a lot of them, as you know, Amy, they're not sharp. They're working on their game. They're knocking the rust off their game, and it drives me nuts because I think they're doing a great injustice to the sponsor. What do you think about that?
Absolutely agreed. I think that with Sony being such a large organization, the players are just their season ended in November, so they're coming off the holiday season. Did they practice? Did they play? Did they make swing changes?
Right.
So there's so many things that the players could have done that are they really bringing their A game there? Well, yes, some of them are because obviously some of them, somebody had to win.
Yeah.
But that it's a tough thing to come right out and start getting back into competition, and playing again and being at your best.
Yeah, I mean, you have the network interviewing these guys, the Golf Channel or whatever, and they're interviewing various guys, and they go, how you feeling start of the year? And I'm kind of still working on my game. I'm knocking the rust off a little bit. I'm using this as a tune-up, to get to the desert tournament after this. If I was the sponsor, I'd be pissed.
Absolutely. Something to think about, too, just from my experience on the women's collegiate side, from fall to spring, the average of women's golfers, collegiate golfers, is at least 2 strokes higher from fall to spring.
That's interesting, and that's huge, 2 shots.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, so if you're thinking about it, what is it? Is it for the guys? Is it a half shot? Is it a full shot stroke average difference from the beginning? Because if you think about it, they've played all summer, come into the fall,
right?
Play
That's a good point.
Collegiate golf, or whatever it is. So they, these guys don't really get hot again until, April, Masters time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. So you're absolutely right. Sony, Sony being a big corporation,
absolutely,
and a big contributor to the PGA Tour for a long time.
Yeah, and if you're a golf professional, you're supposed to come into an event, having your game pretty much intact and really being competitive, like some of these guys were not. So anyway, we're moving forward. Before we leave this segment, I want to ask you though, what's more stressful for you, as far as being the head coach of the women's team or the president of the chapter?
Wow, I'd have to go being the head coach. We're trying to do a lot of different things at a lot of different times, and it's a good stress though.
Yeah,
it's a really good stress.
It is a good stress. Scott, we got somebody got a live chat in.
Yeah, the question is, why aren't these guys staying in shape in what I guess would be argued the off season? I don't get it.
They like to take their off time, so they don't work as hard, they don't train as hard, and really when you get out of competition, even if it's for a short amount of time, it's a challenge to get back into the competition side of things and really be able to turn it on.
Yeah.
And so it's an on-off switch, but I would definitely say that there's a lot of people that like to take their off time because their season does go from the middle of January till the end of November.
But on the other hand, though, Amy, you got to look at some of the guys, I guess, that are a little bit more ambitious, or you might call them a little bit more greedy. They have the opportunity to go to Europe and play.
Absolutely.
They could play some of the events on the Australasian Tour. Mm-hmm. They could play maybe some of the stupid season, silly season, events. So some of them do that, but you're right. A lot of them go, I'm done. I'm packing it away for a month and a half or 4 weeks or whatever, and you're right. You have to stay in touch to be competitive.
And even if it's 2 weeks, even if you hang them up for a week, when this is your profession, it's something that you have to continuously work at to be good at it and get better at.
I agree. Well said. All right, I'll tell you what, Amy and I are going to step away. We're going to take a short station ID here on Vegas Video Network. When we come back with our second segment called Birdies and Bogeys, you're going to love it, so stay with us. We're going to be back right after this.
Traditional media believes that after about 3 minutes, you'll tune out. Most Vegas media companies think if it doesn't jiggle, you won't tune in. At the Vegas Video Network, we think both are wrong. The Vegas Video Network is the first and only live online broadcast network that specializes in insider news and expert views about Vegas. We combine great storytelling with the ability to watch when and where you want on your computer, mobile device, or television. Discover the real Las Vegas. Visit VegasVideoNetwork.com.
All right, back with Birdies and Bogeys, everybody. Welcome back to Golf and Other Four-Letter Words. Amy Bush-Kerzer, Dennis Silvers. I think I know my name. By the way, I got a question. What's wrong with jiggling? Did you see that little station?
See that.
I think. What the hell's wrong with jiggling?
I mean, I dance.
Come on.
It's okay.
I know. Come on. All right. I'm going to give you some rumors, some gossip, some stories going around. Tell me birdie, bogey, double bogey, whatever. Lee Westwood, currently ranked world's number 2. All right. Amy said in an interview with a newspaper recently, he thinks that professional golfers are paid too much money compared to people like police, teachers, nurses. True, he makes a good point. He said, even though golfers' earnings are performance-based, which is true, there's no guarantee. But for a professional tour player, I think to say that is quite eye-opening. And I've said these guys have been overpaid for years and years and years. And I haven't made a lot of friends with, some of those people. But birdie or bogey on his part?
I would say birdie.
Okay. Why?
So
obviously you agree.
I agree. But seeing some of his interviews, I think that he's a good guy, and I think that he truly sees that and sees the overall big picture.
Yeah.
And I also he gives back to communities and he does various things in Europe, and so I could see him saying that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, these guys do make a lot of money today, and nobody's against people making money, obviously, and it is performance-based. But when these guys are playing for $1 million a week for first place, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot of money.
And then think about all the sponsor stuff and things that they get on top of.
On top of that.
I'm pretty sure that for winning the Sony Open, you probably get Sony product along with your $1 million.
I'm sure.
So on top of those
I hope
things,
you do.
I would hope exactly. So,
I hope you do. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, Brady, that's it. This is interesting, Amy. A 74-year-old retiree from New Zealand, get this, is out playing golf with his buddies one day, has 2 hole-in-ones, 2 holes in one in the same round. Phenomenal feat. At the end of the round, he's complaining, he's moaning, he's fetching. He's not happy with the round because he's 14 over par. He says the 2 holes in one that he has wasn't by skill, because he was playing by crap. He said it was luck because he was playing that poorly. He aces the 5th hole and the 9th hole at a club where he's been a member at for 60 years. 2 holes in ones, and he's not happy. Birdie or bogey?
Those Kiwis.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
We'll go bogey.
We'll go bogey. Yep. I agree. Come on, I don't care how bad you play, how bad it was. You've done an unbelievable feat in the same round.
Go buy your buddies some drinks. Come on, just take them to the bar. Stop,
just be happy they let you out of the home for the day to play. 74 years old. Come on.
You're upright, man. Be happy you're upright.
How many hole-in-ones have you had?
0.
Really?
I've had a double eagle, but I've had
awesome.
I've had no hole-in-ones.
I've had 4, and I would trade one of those in a heartbeat for a double eagle.
Yeah, double
Yeah,
eagle.
I'd come close a couple times, but where was your double eagle?
South Shore Golf Club, one of my favorite places on earth.
Okay, well, that's because you used to teach
Yeah,
out there.
I did, but it's
What
still
hole
one
was
of
this
mine.
on?
Number 6.
Okay, very nice.
The dog leg right, a little
Very
water.
nice.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah,
very nice.
and I did it with a group of ladies that were in the 9-hole group, so
Yeah.
they had 40+ handicaps, and were in their 70s
Oh, they
still
had to
playing
be in
golf.
awe.
They looked at me and they were like,
Phenomenal.
did that go in?
Phenomenal.
So it was a great experience.
So let me picture. There's a huge rock to the right. Did you hit it off the rock and
I
then
did.
go in the hole?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, something
All
like
right.
that.
All right,
It skipped over the water a couple times in the process too. So.
All right. Hank Haney. Everybody knows Hank Haney, one of the top-rated golf coaches on the planet. Tiger's former coach, is being sued by none other than Gloria Allred for fraud. Get this. She represents a young lady by the name of Maureen Fitzgerald, who's the mother of an 18-year-old kid, this golf prodigy, who enrolled in Haney's Golf Academy after high school. The suit contends that Hank spent nowhere near the time he was supposed to, or represented to this mother, and never formed a, quote, personal relationship with this lady's son. Now, don't forget, this is not a cheap deal either. You're not going to, take a lesson out at Angel Park or something. This is $30,000 to $40,000 a year to attend his golf academy. Birdie or bogey?
I would say birdie, and only because I have some players on my team that have come out of the Ledbetter Academy. So knowing how serious it is,
interesting.
It's a very it's a big deal. The Haney Academy and the Ledbetter Academy.
Are big deals.
And it's very expensive.
It's very expensive.
Very expensive. So
That's interesting. I know they get a number of students, okay, and you only could spend so much time. And this thing about forming a personal relationship bothered me a little bit, but that's going to be very interesting. And I want to ask you, Brandon Stooksbury, who's vice president of the chapter?
Yes, he is.
All right. He runs the PGA Tour Academy out at TPC Las Vegas. What do you think Brandon how he would react to something like that?
Knowing Brandon, it would say something from Tennessee with some Southern accent. But
yeah, Southern from that, like, I want more barbecue, okay?
Yeah. Or I want a Coca-Cola Classic.
Yeah.
But besides that, I think that...
but how do you think he'd view something like
we've
this?
talked about it a lot. I mean, he he sees so many juniors these days.
Yeah.
That it's just the parents and wanting to get their kids better, that he would probably kind of laugh a little bit about it and say, "This is really, we're going to sue them." I mean, could you imagine that he could get a lawsuit on that stuff too?
Know.
Hey,
well,
you didn't get my kid a D1 golf scholarship.
Yeah, there's Gloria Allred. I mean,
right.
that's what she does. Scott, we got somebody in live chat.
Yeah, what's your all's opinion on what is a reasonable amount of time to spend with the guy who's running a pro deal like that?
That's a good question.
Well, to kind of take that, I've asked my players that are on my team from the Ledbetter Academy, how much did you really see, David Ledbetter the whole time? And they saw him, but it wasn't really on a frequent basis. Instead, what they get is they actually get assigned to instructors that Ledbetter has hand-chosen.
Right.
So they go to school in the morning, and then they go with whoever their instructor is in the afternoon. And then they also play tournaments on the weekend. So it's a very golf in-depth school. Yes. So I would say that they don't really see Ledbetter very much, but I don't know if that's really the expectations of that either. So
apparently she felt there was some representation here, and like she claims in the lawsuit, well, hell, he spent enough time with Ray Romano teaching him how to play golf, and Rush Limbaugh teaching him how to play golf. But of course, that's another deal. We're going to have to follow that because it's going to be an interesting thing. All right, rumors are flying around. Tiger announced that he's going to make his PGA Tour debut at the AT&T National Pro-Am in beautiful Pebble Beach. There was a rumor floating around that he might be hooked up with none other than Tim Tebow. All right, let me do my Tebow thing here. Okay, but the tournament director, his name is Ollie Nutt. I love that name, Ollie Nutt. Okay, said no. He's going to play with Tony Romo, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. So I don't know, birdie or bogey. It's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, I did read that saying that he was going to, but I didn't read the newest that he was going to get to be with Tony Romo Tebow.
Yeah, and that was, by the way, that was confirmed. Ollie Nutt is going to be in an advisory capacity. He was actually replaced as the tournament director because I talked to the CEO and the tournament director at Pebble Beach today. His name is Steve John. He's going to be on my radio show starting on the 4th on CBS, so he confirmed that to me. All right, birdies and bogeys, let's get into Handicap Helper. This is where you need to get a pencil, a pen, a paper, and write down some of the answers that Amy's going to give you, to help me, to help everybody watching on their game. So let's get right into it. Here's Handicap Helper. All right, welcome back, everybody. Got some good questions for you, Amy. So put your thinking cap on. Herman emails this into the show. He says that he's having trouble with long lag type putts, say from 30 feet and more. Any advice? What's a tip?
Well, some of the stuff we do with our athletes to get them better in the lag putting is we set up a 30 and 40 foot. So you have to find a big putting area, find a big putting green somewhere in the valley, which sometimes are hard to find.
Yeah, true.
And we set up strings, and so they have to make sure that they get the ball through the string. So it's a 2 posts on either side, string at the top. We have to make sure that they get that through the string, because the goal is that you're going to make maybe one out of 10 of those.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, maybe on a good day more.
Right.
But the goal is let's get into where we can get into a 2-putt situation. So the best thing that we do is drills and practice that and get better at making those. You know, so we have 3 and 4 foot putts coming back.
Right. Okay, so you're saying then set up a string, and you got to get the ball
past the string,
and that automatically gets it to the hole.
Right.
Okay, that's a very good drill. And if you can't do that, Herman, you could always use the string, you know, to what? Hang yourself, because you're not going to get any better.
Right.
All right, Richard. Richard wants some help with his putting, and wants help with downhill putts as far as controlling speed. That's a good question.
That is a great question. That's, you know, we've got a lot of fast greens out here in Las Vegas too.
Yeah.
I mean, what were we just talking about? Dragon Ridge being super quick. But you know, some of the things about that is it's all about your touch, and it's all about knowing how your putter. So it's, you know, it's really practicing some of those, and those are tricky putts when we're talking about downhill, especially when you've got a little dog, you know,
got a little bend to them.
Little bend to them. So really the thing is pick your point. So practice at picking your spot where you want to hit that. So it might not be at the hole. We may have to pick a spot that's 5 feet, you know, before the cup.
Right, exactly.
In order to make sure that we're rolling our ball over that marked point and then closer to the hole.
Now, also, I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, but I think you also have to take into consideration, even though it's a downhill putt, you may be going against the grain. So it won't be quite as fast as it would be if you're putting, you know, down grain.
Right.
Okay. What is this cockamamie stuff, too, about you here? If it's a fast putt, hit the ball off the end of the putter, that kind of deadens it. I think that's crap. What do you think?
Nothing. And you don't. Why are you going to get it off the center of the face? The club was designed to be the ball to be hit in the center of the club face. So
do it.
Yeah, don't change anything about
don't
that.
change anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
All right. Hope that helps you, Richard. Lee sent this into us and asks if there are any drills to help keep his arms from collapsing at the top of his swing. Good question, because it's a very common thing. So you're doing this, and you kind of collapse it.
Right.
I guess. So what do you recommend?
You know, one of the things is to really, you got to be careful when you do this, though. Is to make sure that you're really feeling like you're almost throwing your arms out away from your body. So there's a difference, though, because you can also get into a nasty thing called casting.
Right.
So you don't want to start casting the club where your club's going to start getting out ahead of where the club head gets ahead of where you want it to be.
Not good.
So really the goal is just to try and I would suggest starting this with a pitching wedge. Don't do this with your driver, 3-wood or 5-wood, because the longer clubs you're going to have a lot less success doing it. So grab yourself a bucket of range balls, go out to Angel Park or wherever you're going to go, and really practice just getting your tempo down with taking your arms out and really feeling like they're falling away from your body.
Yeah, good advice. Good advice. Greg wants some advice as to what to do when hitting off of a tree root. Whoa, be careful. How do you handle that?
Wow. Sometimes I would take an unplayable.
Playable, I was going to say.
because
you could break your wrist.
Yeah,
and I mean,
could.
you could seriously hurt your wrist, and you're out of it.
There's a lot of things
Yeah.
that you could do, but I would, if you're really, really, really wanting to hit it off there, I would take something like my putter, where I'm not going to take a full swing at it.
Whack it out.
And just get it out of there. But the more full swing you're going to take, the more opportunity you have for injury.
Yeah, you could, and we're talking about serious injury here. So
yes.
yeah.
And it could also come back off the tree and
that's right.
and
hit you, and that's a penalty.
Right.
And,
yeah. So no,
horrible things.
Yes.
Horrible things. All right. Or ask your playing partner if you got a Black & Decker.
just take that right out.
Okay. Andrea says that she's having trouble with hitting a lot of fat shots. Any advice?
Wow.
Andrea, go on a diet if you're all right. Fat shots. It's
Wow.
common. I do that. Everybody does that.
I mean, how do I recover from that?
I know.
I mean, but one of the things I can say for women in general is to make sure to take a good look at your clubs and make sure that they're fit for you properly, because a lot of the clubs sometimes aren't, and so therefore we have to really change our swings.
Great point.
To make sure that we're that we're doing the right thing.
Great point. Scott, live chat.
Hello.
I know you're there, aren't you?
Hello.
Yes.
Wow, this thing works well now. Nate wants to know if Amy, I have to do 10 push-ups because that's
Wow, tough
Good.
crowd.
It is a tough room. Nate wants to know if Amy can or notices a fundamental difference between male golf players and female golf players.
It's a great question. The biggest thing that we see between male and female is tempo. I always tell men that have problems with a weight shift to watch women, because the women, especially watch their feet and their legs, because women have a great transition from the top of the swing through the swing. So when I get a lot of people in that are either reverse weight shifting or whatever, I mean, go watch Annika, go watch Kari Webb. I mean, we're talking players that, in their heyday were
great players.
But go watch Annika swing, because she's just got such a great flow to it. Because the one thing that it's very traditional that men try and do is they want to absolutely just kill the golf ball.
Yeah.
And instead just go watch, watch the tempo. So that's the biggest fundamental difference.
I think the biggest fundamental difference between the guys and the women players, guys drink a hell of a lot more beer on the golf course. That's what I see for that. All right. Jeff wants to know a good drill to get more rotation into his arms when he hits shots. Great question.
Another great question.
Yeah.
So a little bit more rotation if there's no, want to make sure that there's no injuries, that, we have a shoulder issue or anything that we can do. But one great thing is take a golf club, put it underneath your arms. So we're going to tuck it up underneath our arms and just kind of make this feeling. Make ourselves rotate more here, because it's more from our torso, not necessarily from our arms.
Yeah.
So we've got to make sure that this is turning. It's turning in there. So the great way to do that is really, and it's almost a great stretch too, because you start feeling a lot of
It is a great stretch.
So tuck under here and turn, and make sure that your shoulder is coming off of your right foot.
Okay. Did I just hear your neck crack?
You did.
Okay.
You did.
Okay. All right. Amy was very nice. She's a little upset with our
this thing.
with this logo.
This
head cover served its purpose.
Yes.
But this was brought in by Amy. This is the head cover used by, of course, the women's golf team. This is very nice.
They're very sought after.
We'll retire him for a bit.
Yes.
And use that. Thank you very much.
Just don't tell Coach Knight.
No, I won't tell Dwayne at all. Real quickly, you only got a couple minutes left. When do you guys get back in action? What's your next tournament, and what is the getting into the spring part of the season?
Well, the student athletes come back to school. We start tomorrow, and our first tournament is February 20th and 21st at Cascada. So we're actually home. Yeah, home. Staying in our own beds, it's a huge advantage for us.
Okay.
So we're actually got some big events this fall. We're going to play in UCLA's tournament. We play in ASU's tournament.
Nice.
We're playing in San Diego State's tournament. So
Wonderful.
we've got some great events that are coming up. We've got some young student athletes. We're very young. We brought in 5 new student athletes this year. We carry 9, so over half of our team is brand new this year. But to get up, get ready to go, we're really going to hit the weight room. I think that's the biggest place for our student athletes to get better and get stronger and get more endurance.
Oh, there's no doubt, because that's good that you say that, because I see a lot of them at the buffets. A lot, but I won't say that. Real quickly, also, a lot of people ask me, Amy, seriously, what's the difference between a Division I school and, say, a Division II?
Division I
Because we are a Division I, but
we
this
are
is
a
the
Division
big time.
I program. It's smaller enrollment for the Division II schools and less athletic programs.
And less athletic programs.
Correct.
Okay.
So you have to have a certain amount to be Division I.
Okay.
And so and there's not necessarily less funding or anything for those programs, but that's really the difference. And you know, there's a lot. I mean, there's almost 250 Division I women golf programs right now.
Wow, is there really? I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I mean, we're talking some big numbers. I don't know the Division II numbers, but I'm sure it's plentiful as well.
Wow.
So.
And if people watching the show wanted to follow the team, you guys have a website?
We do. We have unlvrebels.com. We also have a Facebook page. You can like us there at UNLV Women's Golf. And we also have a new program we're rolling out called Birdie Bonanza, which is a pledge system where you can also follow our team and pledge an amount of money per
which I
birdies.
think is great, right?
So, so we're just trying to get us out into the community and our student athletes. We have a real special group.
And who out of your team should we be looking out for? Who do you expect some great stuff?
Wow, that's pretty tough. But I would definitely say keep a watch out on our freshmen. They're gonna make some tides. They're gonna do some things this.
You heard
spring.
it here first, everybody. So good luck with the season.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on, and we'll absolutely do it again.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
Amy Bush-Kerzer, everybody. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Golf and Other Four-Letter Words on the Vegas Video Network. Thanks for hanging with us. Hope you enjoyed it. We like bringing you the show. We will be right back here, same place, same time, next week with another great show. Until then, fairways and greens, everybody. So long.
We'll be right back.